okay, the Houston Texans are opening not only as underdogs, but like big underdogs, which makes me think like, yeah, that's exactly where we want them. All right, if you don't know what we do at this channel, we are Lions fans, as you can tell by my attire. I have to wear it proudly this week into work. You see the line in the back, but we started another channel, Sports Talk Extra, where we've done mostly Browns and Texans videos, but we started it with just a love for the little guy. Teams that the national media ignores. And the Houston Texans, we have found, is just a great team to talk about. We have been giving them props since before the season started. And we don't talk about the big dogs. You'll never hear us talk about the Cowboys on this channel ever, except talking about how we're not going to talk about the Cowboys. So without further ado, let's get into it. The opening line on this game is absolutely nuts. The opening line on this game is the Baltimore Ravens favored by 9.5. And I was like, okay, I understand, like 6.5. I understand even 7.5, to be honest with you. But 9.5, like you're basically saying we expect the Ravens to win by 2 scores. And that is exactly what you're saying. Anything that's over 8. So 8.5 would be 2 scores. So you're expecting them to win by 2 scores. But that's not what shocked me the most. What shocked me the most is knowing that the Houston Texans played the Baltimore Ravens in week 1. And this was the Houston Texans coming in with a rookie quarterback. This was the Houston Texans coming in with a rookie head coach and coming off a really bad season where they had the number 2 pick. And the Baltimore Ravens in that were favored by 10. So you're telling me, just give me a second here. You're telling me that after a whole season where the Baltimore Ravens are pretty much what we thought they would be, and maybe a little bit better, and the Houston Texans are remarkably better. Like, they have gone from what everybody was like, all right, this is cute. They'll hopefully improve to 4 or 5 wins, get another high draft pick, get some more talent around C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson, and we'll see what those building blocks look like. This is kind of a year to look and see what we got and see what the direction is going forward with all the cap money, blah, 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 blah. And now, all of a sudden, the Houston Texans are like, these are legit Super Bowl contenders for the next decade. Like, that's what the thought process is. You've got your edges. You've got Greenard. You've got Anderson. You've got your cornerstone in Tunsil. You've got your cornerstone in C.J. Stroud. You've got a number 1 wide receiver, maybe 2 of them. Okay, Nico Collins and Tank Dell. Like, this team is solid with a ton of money to spend over the next 3 years. A ton of money to spend. You hear me on that one? Over the next 3 years. And you look at it, and you're like, so in all of that, they gained half a point. But you kind of get this feeling that's exactly what DeMeco Ryans wants. I read a very interesting article, and if I haven't talked about this on this channel, my other job is I'm a pastor. And so when I hear talk about faith, it kind of, I take a different perspective. I want you to hear it here. So, balancing the highs and lows of the NFL season is one of the challenges coaches face. When asked what helped challenge the morale of the franchise, Ryan shared a message of faith, and he said this week. I truly believe that God's grace is over our team. I don't shy away from saying that because I believe it. All right? He went on to talk about how, it's a long season. It's a hard season. The demands of being an NFL head coach, and this is kind of me talking now, are insane. And to have a healthy balance between home and football, in other words, family and football, and faith and football, is really, really difficult to do. If you don't remember, which I'm sure as a Houston Texans fan, you do remember, DeMeco Ryans was the hottest name on the coaching block last year. The hottest name. And he immediately went to Houston. Like, there were many other jobs that would be determined probably as more favorable jobs. He didn't even interview for him. He just went to Houston. He wanted to go there. Houston wanted him. He wanted to be in Houston. It's where he played. You all know this. But at the same time, it was kind of surprising because Houston had been a factory of coaches in recent history. They had been going through them. And that's not their whole history. I understand that. But you had to start wondering, is this a favorable job? Is this going to be an ownership that will allow you to fail in order to succeed. And D'Amico Ryans didn't care about any of that. And I think it's because he cared more about his faith. He cared more about honoring God than he did about anything else. And he trusted God in the process. So it's one of those things where he goes here because he felt like he was meant to be here. And a lot of that's the history. A lot of it is things like that. But he was able to go there. You think about how do I want to put it? You think about getting the number 2 pick, and Houston Texans fans worldwide were like, "What are you doing?" When they won in the last week of the regular season to give the Bears the number 1 pick, right? I mean, was it the Bears? Anyways, I don't know if it was, but they lost. Yes, it was the Bears, but then they traded it to the Panthers, so they didn't get the number 1 pick. But then, is that God's grace on this team in a weird way? Like I feel weird saying that about sports. I do. But at the same time, so they get the number 2 pick. Would Houston have selected CJ Stroud with the number 1 pick? Maybe they would have. But they got the better quarterback with the number 2 pick. They got the best quarterback in this draft class. They got the best quarterback maybe of the last 5 years in this draft class, and maybe longer. And so I don't think that D'Amico Ryans is saying that to say that. I don't think he's saying that just to put his faith out there. I think he's saying that because he actually believes it. So this idea of the Houston Texans are a 9.5-point dog. I understand that they're young. I understand that they're going into Baltimore. I understand that they're going to be going against John Harbaugh, who may be the best coach in the NFL, if not top 3 and at least top 5. And I understand all those things stacked against them. I do. But let's not act like they don't have a team full of players who understand what it's like to play in the cold weather. I think so often you have a team like Houston where they're sitting there and it's like, oh, this is a warm weather team. They play in Houston. They play in a dome. It's all nice. CJ Stroud played at Ohio State. Singletary played in Buffalo. Nico Collins played at U of M. All right, like this isn't a team all around that it's just like, oh, they don't know what cold weather's like. They don't know what they're going to do. No, it's fine. It's fine. And so when you go into this game, just realize I think you got a puncher's chance. I do. By the way, Lamar Jackson, Florida boy, played his college football at Louisville. So, like, this is one of those things where do I think that the Ravens right now, currently as stated, have the better team? Yes. Are they playing better? Maybe. Remember, they sat their starters in the last week of the regular season. They had a bye week last week. All right, if the Texans can come out as hot as they came out against the Browns, they got a shot. Remember, they weren't favored against the Browns either. Just saying. All right, thanks for watching. Leave a comment. Do you got a shot? What role is faith playing football? All that kind of stuff. Leave a comment. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.